Who's ready to light up a lightsaber?
Ah, hot, 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 hot.
Alright, ladies and gents, I'm going to be using 2 shots to make this happen, plus a little bit of Photoshop. So, let's head to the photo table, shall we? Okay, fun fact, when I was setting up this image, I shot a ton of B-roll, but a lot of it ended up just straight up not being worth it, because I kept looking through the camera setting up the image, but I wasn't looking through my phone to see how everything was cropping as I was setting things up. So things looked great through the camera, but half these stormtroopers didn't even show up when I was looking through the phone. So there's a little bit of B-roll footage as I'm speaking here, but overall, most of what I recorded, no good. No good. Oh, the life of YouTube, people. Not all the B-roll is bad, though. Here are 3 lights that I used to light this thing up, if you don't count the red light I used from my phone to show the light coming from the lightsaber, and the iPad light I used on top of Vader. Speaking of, there's Vader. And here we go. I'm going to show you the 2 pics that I shot first real quick. Here's this one that I shot with the iPhone using the best nightlight app to get that red reflection on everybody. And then here's the pic I took without the iPhone. Now the reason I did that is so I could mask, which I talked about in a previous tutorial, and I'll make sure to link that tutorial in the video description below. So we show this again. Now you can see on the right hand side that I'm kind of circling with the arrow, the cursor, where there's a little rectangle with a red X going through it. That's the mask, because if I'm honest, I already masked this thing. So we're just going to enable the mask by right-clicking on there, and then clicking Enable Layer Mask, and there you go. The phone's gone, but we saved the reflection from the phone on all the characters. Now, something else I did was quite a bit of editing on the picture already. So if you guys want me to do a tutorial on how I edited this later on, just let me know in the comments below. I created the sand effect specifically for this picture, so if you dig this sand a whole lot more than Anakin digs sand, keep your eye on the Toypixx Patreon page. This will go up next week, and it will be free to download. Now, what I'm going to do here is we are going to make the lightsaber light, because that's really what you're here for, right? And it's pretty simple stuff. This one, when it comes to Photoshop, this is probably about the easiest effect you can do when it comes to Star Wars characters, or even anybody else that's using a light sword, as the kids maybe call it. Is it just me, or does it sometimes feel like I'm talking just to talk? Thinking while doing this is tough, people! Now, I'll zoom in on it, and the color I'm going to choose isn't quite white. I went just really close to white, but not quite there. The hexadecimal number is FFF4F4. So all kinds of F's there. So hit OK. Now the selection tool that I have selected is, show me the things, the polygonal lasso tool. Sorry, I forget what they're called because I'm just used to using them all the time. Now, we're going to zoom in just a little more and scroll a bit so we see the whole lightsaber. And I'm going to set the feather to 5. Just because we don't want it to be a harsh white light when we're doing this with the lightsaber. And now all I'm going to do is just trace the lightsaber. And if you're not perfect with your trace, that's okay. If you're a little inside the red, you're fine. Better to be inside the red, by the way, than outside the red. Just for clarity's sake. Now, almost done. This is locked up. All I'm going to do now is hit Shift F5, and I'm going to fill it with the foreground color, that FFF4F4 that we already selected, that I already selected. And there's that, complete with a little bit of feather. Don't worry, that's not quite done, but I want to see the greater picture before we actually complete it. So let's go down to here, and now what I'm going to select is you see where there's this little FX menu, not menu, but like button on the bottom of the layers panel. I'm going to click FX, and I'm going to scroll to outer glow and click outer glow. Now, the color I want to use is just straight up Vader red. So what I did there was I selected in this rectangle, it called up that menu, and I switched it up to red. Now, I like using for the blend mode normal the vast majority of the time. So let's see what we get with this. And I also, when it comes to the lightsabers specifically, I want to pump up the opacity all the way to 100. Now, all we're going to play with is size and spread to see what we get. Still here? Awesome! Big fan of toy photography? Awesomer! Scan the QR code to get your free action figure photography guide. It'll also sign you up for the Toypixx newsletter so you can keep up with all the Toypixx things. Now, back to the video. Let's see here. Spread kind of fires off the real harsh opacity. Size makes it a little lighter as you go out. So spread here, pretty harsh, but now we add the size and we can get out a little more. Now spread, what I'm guessing there, because that's way too much, I think. I'm thinking spread probably was way too high. So we lower that some. And we also bring back size just a touch. And all this is just playing until I end up with a spot that I really like, until I end up with something that just looks right. Now, when it's nighttime, you're going to have a much brighter color on your lightsaber than when it's daytime. So I will want to spread this out just a little, but that seems to be just a huge jump. Yeah, maybe what I'll do, oops, definitely don't want 10. I've got it selected back down to 0. And I'm going to bring it back just a touch with size and not do much more with spread. Maybe, no. But see, you can see that there's no one-size-fits-all kind of thing with almost anything in Photoshop. It's just playing until you get the effect that you want to get. So I'm dragging size back a little bit just to tighten it up. But now I'm thinking too tight. And we want some reflection on everything. I think that's probably about right. Now, the reason we did feather, like I said, is you don't want this super harsh line in the light area of the lightsaber. If you're digging the figures you're seeing on the screen right now, scan those QR codes, head to Amazon, and pick them up. Now, those are affiliate links, and all affiliate links mean is I get a cut of the sale at no extra charge to you. So we've got all that set. I'm going to hit OK. And I'd say that's about right. Now, what I was saying earlier, when it comes to an image that is obviously set at night, you're going to get a lot more color coming out from the lightsaber. You're just going to get a lot more reflection, a lot more light from it, reflecting on everything else or bouncing on everything else. Now, when it comes to a daytime shot, let's just pretend this is a daytime shot, then what I would do is, let's see, I want to make sure, all right, 155 is the size. I'm going to copy that just so I have this while I'm showing you this little tutorial part here. Then what I do is just really kind of back off the color a little bit. Not too crazy, but like daytime, you're going to have it more like that. And it's not going to bounce all over things. So you probably wouldn't even use the phone like what I did with the light there to get all this stuff. Daytime, just eliminate the phone step, eliminate the hitting the figures with the color of the lightsaber, and just do this part. Which is, like I said, just a nice, simple outer glow. And that's pretty much what would happen. Now, this is the same sort of thing you would do if they're swinging the lightsaber. You would just make this white area maybe a little more triangular like this, add a little roundness going on. Just because it is pretty much that simple. When you look at all the old school movies, when it comes to Star Wars, that's really what it was. It was all white in the middle and colors on the outside. Now, once they got into the sequel trilogy, they started crackling and adding like spark effects and all that. and I thought that was pretty cool. But when we're dealing with the original trilogy, and obviously Vader and these stormtroopers are, then we're dealing more with just a straight up light color in the middle and the color of the lightsaber on the outside. So there you go. That's pretty much how to create a lightsaber with Photoshop, or at least the lightsaber effect. You can't really create the lightsaber. You hope that that comes with your Jedi or your Sith figure. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what I've got for this lightsaber tutorial, so do me a solid and comment below and let me know if you think I missed anything, if you have a different way of doing it, or as a special comment, let me know what photo editing software you're using so I can try and learn some of this stuff so I can help everybody, not just the Photoshop people. Now, stick around because it's time for today's Toypixx photo, and after that will be today's Patreon freebie. Today's Toypixx photo is this one of Wolverine throwing down with Batman. Yes, friends, it's Wolverine Wednesday, but it's kind of bad to just shoot one picture of Wolverine every single Wednesday because suddenly there's just a lot of pictures of Wolverine, so I've been throwing in some guest stars recently, and I thought, why not get some Dark Claw action going here with wondering which one of these two would win in a fight. So there's another thing you can answer in the comments down below. Anywho, the QR code is there so you can scan it and head over to the X/Twitter and comment with your own Wolverine Wednesday photo and do it, because that's half the fun, isn't it? You guys getting to shoot too. Today's Patreon freebie, and as longtime viewers of the channel know, Patreon and freebie is redundant when it comes to me because everything I post on Patreon is free. So head over to the Toypixx Patreon page and pick a tier, any tier. There's even a free tier. But today's is this smoke effect. Now the reason it has the black background is if you have Photoshop, you just paste this into your Photoshop file in its own layer and set that layer to screen. That way all the black will disappear and you'll just have smoke rolling around on the image. And that's kind of a big deal when we're shooting action figure photography because there's a whole lot of fighting going on, whole lot of smoke going on, probably some fire. I'll be working on that one too. Anywho, the QR code is there so you can scan it and go pick up some smoke if you think it's going to help you with your action figure photography. Whew! Me and words. I use a lot of them. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what I've got for this one. So as always, thanks a ton for stopping by and giving this video a view. It is always massively appreciated. And until next time, have fun and happy snapping. See ya.